Так, привет всем, с вами я, Janie, это College Russian. Today is Word Root Wednesday, and we are going to be learning 30 new words in 30 minutes. So get ready. I have the vocab list that you can get. I will put it on collegerussian.com later, but we're going to learn 10 new verbs, 10 new nouns, and 10 new adjectives, all from this word root, del or die. It has two versions. So start thinking in your mind all the words that you know of that have this del sound in them or die sound, and get ready to translate and write your comments below how you would translate some of these words. So I hope that this is useful. Like I said, this is one of the best things you can do to quickly expand your Russian vocabulary. And you can make sense of new words that you've never heard before just by knowing the word root and how words are formed in Russian. What do suffixes look like? What do prefixes look like? Etc. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, like I said, I hope you're taking notes. You're going to learn lots of awesome new words today. Okay, so this is our root today. Can you think of, this is one of the first phrases you learn when you're learning Russian. And it's how you ask somebody how they're doing. Как дела? Как дела? So this does not mean, there's no verb in here. You're literally saying, when you say как дела, you're literally saying, how are your things that you do? So this is the original of this is дела, which means a doing or an affair, not like an illicit sexual affair, but like something that you're doing. So you're literally saying, how are your affairs? It's a plural. How are your affairs? Хорошо, спасибо. Так далее. And that's why sometimes you'll also hear the form как ваши дела. You hear that plural ваши because you're technically saying how are the things that you're doing, your affairs going. So how are things kind of. Okay, so another one of the first words with this root that you're going to learn when you're learning Russian is делать. Делать. Что ты делаешь, например? Я сейчас делаю лайвстрим в YouTube. А ты, что ты делаешь? Так, so you're going to see that. And then the perfective version of that is сделать, means to, and by the way, this verb can also mean to make, right? Я умею делать пиццу. I know how to make pizza, for example. And then the perfective, don't worry about it if you don't know what imperfective and perfective are just yet, but the perfective would be сделать, right? So for example, we can take this and turn it into an adjective, right? We take off the t on the end and put a ni or naya kind of ending on it, and it turns into a past passive participle. So, например, сделано в России. Сделано в России, which means made in Russia. Okay, next, let's start putting some prefixes on verbs. As you guys know, I love prefixes. They make me very happy. Russian prefixes are so funny, very expressive, again, and they don't always translate into English. This is where we realize that English is not as artistic and expressive as Russian in some ways. So, for example, if somebody comes up to you and says, что ты наделал? Uh-oh, you screwed something up. You made a problem. So, it's not a good thing to hear. Наделал. So I found this movie that's how that translated. It's like, what have you done? If you say that to somebody in English, they did something bad. What have you done? Oh my gosh, what have you done? Like you screwed this up. Что ты наделал? Что ты наделал? Also be taking notes on this because there's going to be a quiz at the end of the stream. We're going to practice translating some sentences so you can see how these work in context. Even if you don't understand every word, you can still kind of figure out the meaning of the word if you know the word root. Okay, another one of my favorite prefixes, we talked about this one last time. Пере can mean literally from one point to another, across, like to cross the street, переходить улицу. Or it can mean to do something too much. Remember when we talked about перелюбить, to love somebody too much? Or it can also mean to do something again, to redo something, right? So in English, we would have this prefix re, to rewrite, to remake, to redo, etc. So you would get a word like переделать, the perfective, and переделывать, that's the imperfective. So to remake, to redo Yeah, so that's how that would translate into English. Переделать, переделывать. Вот, следующий. Okay, see if you guys can figure out how to translate this one, okay? Подделать или подделывать. So pod, see, I want to see somebody in the comments tell me how you would translate this word. The verb is going to translate one way, the adjective is going to translate another way, and then the noun is going to translate. So подделывать, if you put the prefix pod onto a verb, it can mean lots of different things, but one of the meanings it can have is to do something on the side or discreetly or kind of under the table. So, for example, я подрабатываю немного, right? So, я, например, делаю уроки, частные уроки, чтобы подрабатывать немножко. So, подработать means to like earn a little bit of money on the side or under the table if you're doing it in, you know, some other way. So, what do you think this means? To make something on the side or kind of under the table. And look at this picture here. One of these is original, and another one is a подделка. Подделка. So how would you translate that? You do not want to buy things that are поддельные. Не надо покупать поддельные. Moonlighting, yes, that would be for подработать. That would be for подработать. You could say that. It's a little bit of an old-fashioned word. People don't really talk like that. Like you would probably say, oh, slang right now in English is a side hustle. But that's what the word работать. I want to know how you would translate подделывать. Подделывать. To do something kind of on the side or under the table. Look at this picture here. What would help you to translate this? One of these is an original Samsung, and the other one is a подделка. Подделка. All right, so I'm about to give it away. It is counterfeit, okay? So counterfeiting, people who, you know, got accused of counterfeiting money, for example. Они подделывают деньги. Поддельный means a counterfeit product, and then this word is a fake, a подделка, right? So this one is the fake. That's how you can find the подделка. Подделка. It was done under the table. It was done like on the side. Okay, хорошо. Следующий. This is a fun one. Okay, доделать. Доделывать. Вот. До, the prefix до, means up until the end or up until a certain point in Russian. Now, a funny thing, this is a way, if you call somebody недоделанный, it's an insult. It's not a compliment. It means, недоделанный means somebody like, they're defective. And it's an insult. Again, you're calling somebody an idiot if you call them недоделанный. So meaning they weren't like, they're defective. They weren't made all the way. So this is a fun one. And then you can read this here. Недоделанный — это те, кто постоянно работает над собой. So he's saying, oh, I'm not an idiot. I'm just always working on myself. So that's a funny way to say that. So there's an adjective for you. Again, it's very common in slang. It means somebody that's an idiot. We're going to be learning kind of a lot of slang today. It means somebody who is defective. Something's wrong with them. Yeah, they're not all the way formed. Okay. Let's see. Next, проделать. I want somebody to try and translate this sentence. Мы проделали немалый путь. Мы проделали немалый путь. Привет всем. Добро пожаловать, Клаус. Добро пожаловать, Вырчий бой. Так. Добро пожаловать. Again, I want you guys to try translating some of these words. I left stuff blank here so that you guys could start trying to come up with some of your translations for these words. So, okay. So we've got проделать, проделывать. The prefix про means through or to be thorough or to pass something, okay? So to do something through, to do something through. So if you saw this phrase, мы проделали немалый путь, how would you translate this? What is this person trying to say? Мы проделали немалый путь. Путь means a path or a road. Немалый means like not small by any means. So let me know how you would translate this. Мы проделали немалый путь. Мы проделали немалый путь. Have these people gone a short distance, or have they gone on quite the long journey to get to somewhere? Okay, so I would translate this into English as we have come very far. Like, right, we have made a lot of progress on this road. We have traveled a long road to get, yeah, good. We have come a long way. We have come a long way. So again, it doesn't quite it's not as organized in English, but in Russian, you know, the prefix means through and the verb means to do. So you did something all the way through to the end. You traveled a long road to get somewhere. Очень хорошо. Okay, this one's super funny. This one is slang. So спасибо за комплимент. So уделать, this is a new word for me. Уделать, it means slang. So у, the prefix u, means away from somebody. Yeah. Oh, good. Everybody's starting to translate that one. We've come a long way. We've passed a long journey. We've passed through a lot of problems, etc. So уделать, that prefix u means away from. Okay. So уделаю, я тебя уделаю, like I'm going to do away with you. But in slang, it can mean one, to beat somebody up, to beat somebody. Like, I'm going to beat you up. Or it can mean like, yeah, I'm awesome. Like you can see in this picture, уделал. Like so again, sorry for the expression. I'm not going to say the word because then I'll get censored by YouTube. But in English, we say to kick when you did a good job at something. Yes, I did it. Я молодец. Я уделала. I did away with it. Like I kicked whatever. And hopefully you know English swear words, so you can know what that means. Again, let me know if you can think of any other contexts you might use that word in. That was a new word for me when I was doing this one. Okay? Хорошо. Okay, so we've got some translation work I need help with in the comments. Okay. So, действовать. Действовать means to act. And remember, anytime you see an овать verb, they conjugate kind of weird. Я действую, ты действуешь, он действует, мы действуем, вы действуете, они действуют. So if this means to act, and then this is an active participle, meaning the people who are doing this verb, and then this is a noun. So I want to see what your translations of these four words would be. Okay, so we've got a verb here meaning to act. Then we turn it into a participle, meaning the people who do that. What would be your translation of that? And then the thing that is that. And then we have a word like взаимно, meaning mutual or like together, reciprocal. So I want to see what your translations of these would be. Например. So I'll give you guys some example context. Например, в контексте. Недостаточно хотеть, надо действовать. Да? Недостаточно хотеть, надо действовать. How would you translate that? Недостаточно хотеть, надо действовать. Следующий. Действующие. Например, сейчас Джо Байден действующий американский президент. Да? Вот, например, действие в контексте. Слово действие в контексте. I want to see some translation of these in the comments. Let me know how you would translate some of these words. So, например, I'll do another one that's another word root. Желание без действия – это просто ничего не делание. Да? То есть это бесполезно. Желание без действия бесполезно. Действующий на нервы президент. Так, очень хорошо. And then lastly, взаимодействовать would be like, например, Европа и США сейчас взаимодействуют, чтобы найти новые как сказать, пути для газа. Да, потому что сейчас проблемы с Россией. То есть они взаимодействуют, чтобы как строить новые дороги или трубки для газа. Так. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm not seeing anybody responding on this one except for Virtue Boy has a funny comment. Let's go ahead and translate these, okay? So it would be, this one means to act. The quote I was giving you was, недостаточно хотеть, надо действовать. So it's not enough to just want, you need to act, right? Действующий, the acting president, for example. Так. Yes, cooperate. Good job. The last one is cooperate or interact, or collaborate is another good translation of that word. Действие is an action, Очень хорошо. Okay, следующее слово. This was our song. Бездельник was our song on Monday. So now here we have a verb pertaining to this concept, a person, a noun, a person that does this, and the art of the process of doing this. So, например, бездельничать. Remember, you guys, I love this suffix. Ничать means to kind of just like do this thing, right? Бездельничать. To hang around. So, без means without. Дель, ничать. To hang around doing nothing, right? To do nothing. Так, не надо бездельничать. Делом займись, например. Вот. So don't do nothing. You gotta busy yourself with something. Now, a person who does this verb is called a бездельник. There's a very famous song about that. We covered it on Musica Monday this week. You guys can watch it. Then there's this. There's a noun which is the practice of doing nothing, meaning ничего, nothing, не делание, ничего не делание. And here's a little meme. You can see this cat is saying, the joy of ничего не делание, the joy of doing nothing. The joy of doing nothing. Так, okay. Следующий. Okay, this one's super funny. I apologize if anybody thinks this one's crude, but this was a new word for me, and I laughed so hard when I found out what this means. And we'll talk about more. I'm not going to tell you what it means until the end of the lesson when we do our quiz. Okay, so here's our root, to do. And when you add a prefix like o or ob, it can mean to do something by mistake, right? You can do something by mistake. So for example, if you said something like, ой, извините, я оговорилась, я имела в виду, like that would be saying, oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. What I meant to say was, right? Or you could say something like, я ослышалась, which would mean I misheard you. I misheard you. I thought your name was Jenny. Но я ослышался. Тебя зовут Janie. Это совсем другое имя, люди. Совсем другое имя. Jenny – это Jennifer. Janie – это Jane. Совсем другое имя. Так, okay. So I'm not going to translate this word for you, but it's hilarious. And you can look right here. We'll talk about it at the end of the thing. So you did something by mistake. Something you don't want to do. Something you don't want to do. You did, here's our root, did something by mistake with the prefix ob or o, meaning you did it by mistake. Обделаться. Okay, хорошо. Вот, следующий. Now we've got some more adjectives. Например, дельный. Дельный совет. Бабушка всегда дает очень дельный совет. If you guys know how to translate some of these phrases, please go ahead and put them in the comments. Дельный совет. Или он очень дельный человек. Вот да, он всегда делает все как прагматично. Да? Он дельный человек. Это дельный совет. Самодельный. Самодельный хлеб. Например, это хлеб, который вы сами делали. Интересно, как переводится? How would you translate these words? Дельный, самодельный. And then the last one, рука, that means hand. All right? So how would you translate this word? Рукодельный, подарок. Например, мои дети часто делают мне рукодельные подарки. и это очень мило. Я очень люблю рукодельные подарки. Так, so I want to see, self-made, kind of, right? Kind of. It means handmade, homemade, like you did it yourself. You did it yourself. You made it yourself. Good. Handmade. Handmade is a подарок, handmade gift. What about дельный? Бабушка всегда дает мне очень дельный совет. Бабушка понимает, как жизнь, что надо делать в жизни. Но это не, бабушка is not, she's very, what's that word? Like she's very, she doesn't dream too much. She's very, see if anybody can think of how to translate дельный совет. Yeah? Okay, because I'm about to give you the answer. All right, so дельный is pragmatic, practical. Yeah? Practical. And that word practica or pragmatic comes from the Greek, right? Pragma or something. It means like a thing, like it's very practical, pragmatic. So grandma always gives very practical advice. Practical. Okay? Следующий. Деловой. Деловой. We've got another adjective happening here. Деловой. Например, деловой стиль одежды. So look at this woman, how she's dressed. How would you translate деловой? Например, у нашего американского президента очень деловой характер. Он все время думает о бизнесе, потому что он очень деловой. У него очень деловой характер. Он думает о бизнесе. Good. So, yep, Virtue Boy got that one. Business. He has a very, in this context, I would translate this phrase as business-like. He's very business-like. And over here, you would say, yeah, business professional, business style for clothing. Действительный. Нет, люди, я действительно люблю русскую грамматику. Я действительно люблю. So how would you translate действительный? This is a really useful word. This is a very useful word to know for expressing yourself. Нет, я на самом деле, я действительно люблю русскую грамматику. Потом у нас есть такое слово злодейский. Да, злодейский. So зло means evil. Evil. So I want to hear what your translations would be of злодейский. Evil something. Evil something. Так. All right. So I am going to reveal this to you. Деловой means business. Business-like. Действительно means actual. I seriously love Russian grammar. Некоторые люди очень не любят русскую грамматику, но я действительно люблю, я действительно наслаждаюсь русской грамматикой. Да? I know, isn't that strange that Isla is saying it's very strange to see an English person teaching Russian, right? Russians teach English, and a lot of Russians teach English better than I could teach English, because I don't know English grammar, I just speak it, right? So sometimes somebody who has learned the language is the best teacher because they know how difficult it is. They understand the pain that you're feeling. So yes, I feel like my channel is very unique. I think I might be the only American that I know of on YouTube that is teaching Russian. And that's because I know the pain of learning Russian. It's very difficult. So I've learned lots of tips and life hacks and tricks to memorize all the things you need to know. So, and there are Russians that are much better teachers of English than I will ever be, because they know what past continuous is or present simple. I don't know what any of that is. So I'm not the best English teacher. Okay, so let's translate these words. Действительно, really, truly, like seriously, я действительно люблю русскую грамматику. Like I actually love Russian grammar. Злодейский would be like evil, right? A villainous plan, like, oh, you're going to do something evil. Нет, я не училась в Гарварде. Я училась в университете в штате Юта. Так, очень хорошо. Следующий, okay, so you see that evil doing, like у меня злодейский план. Yeah, I have an evil plan. I'm going to do something evil. Вот. Потом, now we've got some more nouns. Сделка. See if you can figure out, if you guys know what this book from, I'm not a Trump fan, I keep talking about him, but this is his most famous book, потому что он очень деловой человек. Он написал вот такую книгу. Искусство заключать сделки. Сделки. Как переводится? Maybe you guys know the name of this book that Trump wrote. What is it called? So this is going to help you know, что такое сделка. Что такое сделка? Right? So this is a noun. It's a thing. Очень хорошо. A deal is a deal. Вот. Очень хорошо. What's the name of this Trump book? Does anybody remember that? Искусство means the art. The art. So see if in the comments you can figure out how you would translate this Trump book. Also, you have something like изделие, which means like products, right? Products, the thing that you made, the thing that you produce, the thing. Good. Dave Clark got it. Art of the deal. The art of the deal. So this literally in Russian means like the art to make a deal, kind of. The art to make a deal. And then we have a word, this is really like more in religious context, but you would have something like благодеяние. Blaga means good, essentially, right? So maybe you're a person, я стараюсь делать как можно больше благодеяния в моей жизни. So благодеяние would be good doing. How would you translate that word? Good doing. Good doing. That doesn't sound good in English. What about this phrase? Табачные изделия. У вас есть в чемодане табачные изделия, например? You might not be able to take those through customs. So let me know how you would translate some of these phrases. Хорошо. Yes, blaga can mean thanks if you pair it with the verb дарить. So blaga, dar, those two roots together become gratitude. They become thankful. Например, я благодарю тебя за то, что так. So I good give, meaning give thanks, gratitude. Благодарение. Я очень благодарна. I'm very grateful. But this one is good do. So I'll let you know how to translate this. So this is a deal. Right? Табачные изделия is tobacco products. Maybe you're not allowed to take tobacco products on an airplane, for example. This one you could translate as good deeds. Good deeds. You need to do good deeds. You know, what's the word? No good deed goes unpunished, kind of thing. So that would translate as good deeds. Okay. Next, we've got, this is a different kind of people. Okay. So, например, деятель. A person who acts. When we see this suffix on the end of something, it means a thing or person that does that. So, читатель, a reader. Смотритель, a watcher, a viewer. Yeah? So this one is деятель, a person who does that. Например, what's that girl's name from Norway? The Greenpeace, like she's always protesting everything. I can't remember. Greta something. She is a социальный деятель. So how would you translate that phrase? Социальный деятель. And you guys can help me. What is that Norwegian girl's name that's always protesting things in the environment? I can't remember. Okay, so then another type of person, Grace, thank you. So she is a социальный деятель. So that's a hint. How would you translate this phrase? Социальный деятель. Okay. Here's another one. Сыр means cheese. How would you translate this one? Cheese make. And a person who does that. Oh, she's Swedish? Okay, sorry if I've made the mistake. Scandinavian. I'll just say Scandinavian. So how would you translate this? Cheese make. Then down here we have vino. What about this one? Vino del. And then this is the place where they do this to wine. A social leader? Good. I would say социальный деятель translates as a social activist. An activist. Деятель. Деятель is an activist, right? Okay, so good. We got сыродел is a cheesemaker. What about this one? Винодел. Винодел. And this is a place. See if you can guess what this would be. This place, винодельня. Good. So винодел is a wine maker. And this is a place. How would you translate this one? Винодельня. 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 Except for in English, we say a winery. A winery. That's how we say that in English, is a winery. Those are very popular for people to go. Они гуляют, они пьют вино. Да, очень хорошо. Okay, теперь наш квиз. Okay, so are you ready for our quiz? So what you're going to do now is we're going to read these sentences, some of these words in context, and hopefully you'll be able to understand kind of the whole meaning of the sentence because you know these root words. So, например, в Казахстане переделывают обычные машины в электромобили. Так, so пере means to re-дел means to make. So what are they doing? It can also mean recycle, by the way. It can also mean recycle. So, в Казахстане переделывают обычные машины в электромобили. What are they doing to those typical cars? They're making regular cars into what? They're remaking them into electrical vehicles. Yeah? Okay, get ready to translate this one. Низкая цена, по его словам, верный признак поддельных товаров. Низкая цена, по его словам, верный признак поддельных товаров. Okay, so let's remember what this word means. Подделать means to fake something, right? To fake something. So, Isla, переделывают is not exchanging, it means to remake. They're remaking them or recycling them. Так. Низкая цена, a low price, по его словам, like in his words, верный признак поддельных товаров is a sure sign of a fake, a counterfeited product. A counterfeited product. Yeah? I highly recommend you guys go back and good, mindful person, очень хорошо, молодец. I highly recommend you can go back and like I said, there will be a worksheet that you can go and print out for your notes and you can practice these words. Вот, окей, следующий. Сколько действующих вулканов на Земле? Сколько действующих вулканов на Земле? Interesting. So this was that word for to act. To act. That was one of our words that we did. So let me know in the comments how you would translate this sentence. Сколько действующих вулканов на Земле? Yeah, remodel. You could say remodel. I think переделывание is also how you would say recycling in Russian as well. Okay. So let's look at this one. How would somebody translate this? Сколько действующих вулканов на Земле? So something about a volcan is good job. How many active volcanoes are there on Earth? How many active volcanoes are there on Earth? Очень хорошо. Так, следующий. This is a news headline. В Ярославле чиновники торжественно открыли недоделанный мост. This is a very amusing article. Okay, so in Yaroslav, чиновники, like local officials, торжественно, like they triumphantly Открыли. What kind of most was the most? Ah, good. Maybe GR is apparently from Yaroslavl. Maybe he knows which bridge this is. So they were very excited. They opened this bridge, but something was wrong with it. What was wrong with it? Недоделанный. До means up until the end. Up until the end. Недоделанный. Это недоделанный. So how would you translate that? How would you translate that? Недоделанный мост. Недоделанный мост. В Ярославле чиновники торжественно открыли недоделанный мост. So the funniest part about this, good job, Isla TV, молодец. So the best part about this is they triumphantly opened an unfinished bridge. I don't know what crazy person wants to ехать через недоделанный мост, но я точно не поеду через недоделанный мост. Так, очень хорошо. Окей, следующий. Вот. Okay, we're getting into some chemistry here. Почему атомы, I don't even know where the stress is on that word, атомы. Oh, good. Look what GR says about that bridge in Yaroslavle. Он сказал, что это было давно, потом доделали. Очень хорошо. That's really great. So he said, yes. At first they opened it, it wasn't finished, но потом доделали. But then they built it up until the end. They finished it. Okay? Хорошо. Почему атомы, again, I don't know how to say that word. I've never said that in my life, взаимодействуют между собой? Или как работает химия? Интересно. So do you remember this prefix right here, just взаимо, means enter. Действуют means act. Interact. How do atoms do what? How do atoms, something about chemistry, how do atoms interact with each other? Или как работает химия? Or in other words, how chemistry works. Так, очень хорошо. Okay, let's look at this next sentence. Действительно ли средства массовой информации, которыми я пользуюсь, влияет на меня? Серьезно? Действительно ли средства массовой информации, которыми я пользуюсь, влияет на меня? So, средства массовой информации is the media. So, what is this person saying? Like, seriously? What? Really? What is their question that they're asking? Okay, all right, I'm about to give away the answer. So submit your answer if you feel like you know how to translate this one. Действительно ли средства массовой информации, которыми я пользуюсь, влияют на меня? Так, so what this person is saying is, does the media, которыми that я пользуюсь, I use, actually, действительно, влияют на меня? Does it really actually affect me? Does it really actually affect me? The media that I use, does it affect me? Okay, хорошо. Наш последний слайд is, we'll do this one here. See if you can find the root word and then see how you would translate it. Напомним, что абсолютное большинство заявлений, сделанных деятелями культуры в эти 2 дня, носят антивоенный характер. Okay, lots of big stuff in here. So, but let's first find the root words. We've got сделанных and деятелями. Так. So, if we remember back from the Greta Thunberg, деятель is the what kind of person? And then we had, remember we saw this word for that little thing that it was like made in Russia, сделанных. Okay, so this would be, and we will remind you that the absolute majority of statements made by, who was it made by? That's another one of our root words. Made by, what? Remember the word for Greta Thunberg was this. She's a socialny version of this. Made by makers. Yes. Made by activists, made by cultural activists on these 2 days, had a anti-war character. Yeah. Okay. And now my favorite word that I discovered that has this root. It made me laugh so hard when I read it. Okay. So remember, this is the verb I told you. Обделался. Ob means to do something by mistake, to accidentally do something. Okay. So I'm sorry if you guys think that this is vulgar, but I'm sorry. I just think it's hilarious. So, когда он увидел змею, okay, so when he saw the snake, just think, what would you do if you saw a snake? Он чуть не обделался от страха. Okay. So again, this is something you don't want to do. You don't want to do. And it's not as vulgar. There's a more vulgar way of saying this, but this is a lighter version. So anybody want to try and translate this verb for me so I don't have to say it? Anybody want to try and translate it? Я чуть не обделался. Я чуть не обделалась. Ой, так, ты меня так испугал. Я чуть не обделалась. So let's see if anybody wants to try and translate this verb. Again, it's the feeling you might have if you're suddenly really scared or excited, or you might do something in your pants accidentally. Again, it's a mistake. It's something you don't want to do. It's a mistake. You do not want to do this. Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds. It's a really story in Russian. Oh, no. So sad. Okay, anybody else want to try and translate this one? Something you do by mistake. You don't want to do it. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I'll give you one more chance to try and translate it. And I'll show you. Let's see if I can show you this picture where you can kind of see what Donald Trump is doing. There it is. See how he's holding his pants a little bit? Yeah. Trump обделался. All right, so nobody wants to translate this word for me. So the way we would translate this in English is to like crap your pants, right? Like, oh my gosh, I almost crapped my pants. When he told me that he's coming to see me next week, I almost crapped my pants. He just not too from scare. Yep. So he saw a snake. Когда он увидел змею, он чуть не обделался от страха. He almost crapped his pants from fear. He almost crapped his pants from fear. Again, I'm sorry, that's very vulgar. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody, but I just thought that was like the most hilarious thing, that like you do something by mistake. That's literally what that means. But okay, let me know in the comments. That's a good way to end the stream, is talking about that lovely image to leave you with. Let me know in the comments below what other words with this root you can think of. There's tons. I didn't even get to all of them. There's so many different roots, and it's really useful for you to go through and start coming up with off the top of your head all the different words that use this root. So let me know in the comments all the ones that you can think of. Like I said, I will make available on the community tab those worksheets for you to print out and practice on your own. So, хорошо, это все. До свидания. Увидимся в понедельник. I'll be back on Monday. We're going to be doing some Pushkin poetry on Monday. So I hope to see you there. Это все. До свидания. Увидимся в понедельник. Не бездельничайте, пожалуйста. Увидимся в понедельник. До свидания.